We are a landscape architecture and urban design organisation creating fabulous permanent and temporary installations in and around London and beyond.
As you can see, there's a variety of different installations we've done, from the Mayor of London's first pocket park to pop-ups at the South Bank, Hampton Court.
Community gardens are generally a very good thing for a neighbourhood, but they can be perceived a little bit socks and sandals, a bit earnest, and they very much are preaching to the converted. They can exist within a neighbourhood and you not even know that they're there. They're very good things and they respond to the needs of the community and gardeners who are very keen.
Celebrating this, there are so many spaces that go unnoticed across London. What if these spaces were transformed into active landscapes? Unlike conventional parks, which are often passive spaces managed by a higher body, we want to try and create public gardens along using the existing network and creating these valuable community growing spaces.
Our general response when we approach the public and existing community groups is, what do you think? They love it. And
so do these guys.
They want in on the whole. It galvanises communities and it gives them a sense of ownership in their own space. So our aim is to balance form and function and to engender a sense of pride through good design in your neighbourhood. And by using good design, you're going to bring out people that aren't necessarily gardeners and you can preach to the unconverted. We encourage the growing of food because food is generally, a tomato plant is more inclusive than a rose bush. It creates conversations, it breaks down barriers.
And by using the existing infrastructure, we've already got a network there that we can just build upon, adding this green layer, celebrating the iconic bus of London, but also joining the dots. There are 19,500 bus stops at this moment. What if just 50% of these were transformed into these amazing spaces, improving travel and waiting experiences for those on the bus system and for those passing by? It will be an easily accessible and affordable network.
We use the bus routes because they can help us link and utilise a network. So we link in communities and spaces. We're utilising those existing infrastructure networks and then exchanging those skills and resources that are all the way along those lines that pass through London and wherever your bus route is or whatever your transport network is.
We started with the 322. This runs through South London to sort of set the precedent to create a new type of green infrastructure. Bottom up, if you like, addressing the needs of each community, working with them, and at the same time addressing much wider benefits of sustainability, health, behaviour, and sustainable transport. So we're trying to create this network, not just on the buses, this is where we started, but there's tubes, trains, cycling, driving. So we're working towards an edible bus route.
Our idea is, the way we work it is a three-stage process which we call EAT: engage, animate and transform. First of all, you have to engage with the neighbourhood to find out if they actually want it. Then you help them to animate the space, provide the tools to do so, just enable them to get on with it, to take ownership. First stage.
So this is our precedents at the moment, our examples. So this is Stockwell, West Norwood and Crystal Palace, all along the same route. And a lot of these people had never met, and yet they lived side by side for 10s, if not 20 odd years. And the amount of amazing, exciting sort of enthusiasm that came out, and with a little bit of hard work on a Sunday afternoon and lots of tea and cake, they transformed these spaces. And it was recognisable, people were proud to come home.
It makes an instant transformation. Most of these pictures are taken within the first 3 to 4 months of a garden being dug. Here you see the transformation stage, which is where we do need the funding, which is where we go out and look for funds. We've created 2 pocket parks in the Mayor of London scheme. In fact, we created the first one of his scheme. And we've got a third one in the pipeline. So this is the end stage of the process. And this is where we sign off and give over to the community and they take care of it. So we've got a lovely quote from our Boris. With these are all things that make such a difference when you are creating these elements. You're not only engaging with the community, you're engaging with biodiversity, you're creating thought about seasonality of food, and you're also maybe providing excess food for the food bank.
Alongside the bus stops themselves and the permanent landscapes, we know that we're preaching to the converted. So how do we get this idea of green infrastructure, growing horticulture out to a wider audience? Well, let's put the green infrastructure and the growing into different unusual spaces, whether that be Hampton Court Flower Show, but bringing in street artists, or taking over 5 parking bays at Waterloo just for 12 hours, putting in a mini woodland where people could find out about the trees and the benefits, or putting a 4-metre bay tree in a truck and calling it the parking bay. It's all a bit playful. People are coming and you take it away and they wonder why it's gone and why it wasn't there in the first place.
Here we ruffled some feathers at RHS Hampton Court in 2012 by creating a 20-metre by 5-metre rioted street that was rioted by plants, not people. It was an illustration of the importance of green over grey, and also rethinking what gardens are and what makes them beautiful, and how young people can get involved. Here at the South Bank in 2013, we created a roller coaster of wheelbarrows, all planted with mini edible gardens. Again, to illustrate in a playful way, you don't need much space to grow edibles, and they always create conversations. It was a very powerful installation, and because that was a particularly grey spot.
And here's another one which was called Growing Together, and it was all about relationships we have with each other, whether that's love or friendship, and how food growing, we played with time is always on our side, and a few of the various other growing puns, but it just again transformed another area of quite a brutalist environment at the South Bank.
We hope you dig it.
Thank you very much.